Hello and welcome. Today, we're going on a bit of an evolutionary journey. We're going to talk about why the very modern world of trading can feel so primal. We're taking a look under the hood at the ancient hardware that's running inside your brain when you're staring at your P&L.
I mean, really think about it for a second. It's just a number, right? It's pixels on a screen. So why does a losing trade trigger that knot in your stomach, that racing pulse? Why does it feel less like a simple financial setback and more like you're in actual physical danger? Well, it's not a personal flaw. It's actually a biological puzzle, and we are about to solve it together.
To solve this puzzle, we have to go back in time, and I mean way back, 530 million years ago. That's our first stop. We're talking long before the dinosaurs, even before fish had jaws. We're going to meet the oldest operating system in your body.
And it all starts with this. This is the most basic, the most fundamental way we interact with the world, through pain. It's called the flexor withdrawal reflex. You touch a hot stove, your hand snaps back. That's it. This simple, elegant little system is the absolute blueprint for basically every reaction you've ever had in your life. Now here's the mind-blowing part. This all happens before you even know it's happening. The signal from your burning finger, it doesn't travel all the way up to your brain to ask for permission. Nope. It takes a shortcut. It zips straight to your spinal cord, which immediately fires a signal back to your muscles telling them to contract. The whole thing takes less than 100 milliseconds. Your hand is already safe before your brain has even had a chance to register the pain.
And this gives us this incredibly simple but powerful loop: stimulus, action, result. The hot stove is the stimulus. The action is pulling your hand away. The result is safety. This little three-step process is the foundational pattern for all behavior, and it's been perfected over 500 million years. Now remember this loop because it's about to get a lot more interesting.
But of course, life got a little more complicated than just avoiding hot things. As our ancestors evolved, they needed a much more sophisticated toolkit to deal with a much more dangerous world. They needed a system upgrade.
So, around 300 million years ago, evolution rolls out version 2.0. On top of that ancient spinal cord, we get the limbic system. This is your emotional brain. And what's wild is that we share this exact piece of hardware with reptiles, with dinosaurs, and with the very first mammals. So what even is an emotion from a biological point of view? It's not just a feeling. It's an advanced survival program. It's designed to take in data from all your senses, what you see, what you hear, what you smell, and it cross-references all of that with your memory to predict danger before it even gets to you. It's the huge leap from just reacting to fire to feeling fear at the sound of a predator in the bushes.
So let's put these two systems side by side. You've got the pain reflex on one hand. It is pure blistering speed, processed right in the spine. Then you have the emotional response. Now it's a little bit slower. It can take up to half a second, but that's because it's processing so much more data up in the brain. You're treating a few milliseconds of reaction time for this incredible, sophisticated ability to predict and avoid harm altogether.
And hey, look who it is. It's our old friend, that stimulus-action-result loop. But this time, it's been upgraded. Now, the stimulus is a suspicious sound in the dark. The action is fear, which makes you run or shout. And the expected result is that you avoid danger. Now, this is the key part. That expected result isn't something you think about. It is hardwired. It's what your genes expect to happen, because for hundreds of millions of years, that's what worked. That's what kept your ancestors alive. Okay, so we've got our two ancient survival systems, the super-fast pain reflex and the predictive emotional brain, which brings us finally to the modern world and to the central conflict of this entire story. So here's the billion-dollar question. What on earth happens when you take this ancient piece of software, this code that was written for physical survival in a world of predators and fires, and you drop it into the abstract, data-driven world of trading?
This is it. This is the whole enchilada. Your brain, your ancient limbic system, it doesn't know the difference. That flash of red on your screen, that number ticking down, to that 300 million-year-old piece of hardware, it is the exact same stimulus as seeing a snake in the grass. It triggers the exact same hardwired ancient threat avoidance programs.
And this is why that beautiful ancient survival loop completely breaks down in trading. The stimulus, a red P&L, triggers the pre-programmed action, run away. In trading, that action is sell immediately. But the genetically expected result, safety, less danger, it doesn't happen. In fact, panic selling at the bottom is almost always the worst thing you can possibly do. The action doesn't lead to the expected outcome, and that's really the bottom line here. Your emotional reactions are programmed for a world that doesn't exist anymore. Your genes are screaming at you to seek immediate physical safety because that's what worked for dinosaurs. But markets don't reward that instinct at all. Okay, so if we know this, what are we supposed to do about it? How do you possibly operate in a world you weren't biologically designed for? Well, that brings us to the big takeaway.
I really want you to let this sink in. When you feel that gut-wrenching fear of a loss or that frantic greed of missing out, that is not a trading instinct. It is a survival instinct that's being completely misapplied. This isn't about you being a bad trader. It's about you being an incredibly successful biological organism. You have inherited the winning reactions of every single one of your ancestors. Your instincts are working perfectly. They're just working on the wrong problem.
You know, one trader put it perfectly and a little humorously. He said, if you truly think that mechanisms which were designed to survive worms and frogs will positively influence your P&L, good luck with such trading. It's funny, but it's true. The very systems that kept our earliest, simplest ancestors alive are now trying to manage your brokerage account. And, well, that rarely ends well. But here's the good news. Here's the hopeful part. You can't just delete 500 million years of evolution. That's not going to happen. But you can become aware of it. Simply by understanding why you feel that jolt of panic, you create a tiny bit of space between the stimulus and your reaction. And recognizing that feeling for what it is, just an ancient echo, that is the absolute first step to not being controlled by it. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. You now know that you are a modern trader running on ancient, prehistoric software. Software that was designed for a totally different world. The question is no longer, how do I stop feeling this fear? The real question is, now that I know where this feeling comes from, how will I choose to act?